$100 million Leads Part 4. How cold outreach turns a stranger into a buyer. Imagine you've created your lead magnet. You've reached out to people you know through warm outreach. You've even started posting free content. Some people are joining in, some are listening to you, and some have even seen your offer. But then one day you realize that your warm list has a limit, and free content growth is happening slowly. Bills need to be paid today, clients are needed now, and cash flow is needed immediately. This is where the fear sets in, because in business, just waiting around doesn't open up the market. And this is where the curiosity begins. When the person in front of you doesn't know you, doesn't trust you, and isn't even ready to listen to you, how do you turn a total stranger into a lead into a conversation, and a conversation into a customer? In the third part, we understood the power of free content. Free content isn't just about posting, it's a process of building an audience. Warm outreach is one-on-one, but free content works like one-to-many warm outreach. Instead of sending a message to one person, you provide value in public so that strangers discover you, understand your thought process, and gradually build trust in you. We talked about hook, retain, and reward. The hook grabs attention, retain keeps that attention, and the reward gives the audience the value that was promised. But free content has its own time frame. Building an audience requires patience, consistency, and very often results come slowly. Now in the fourth part, the story gets even tougher, because now we're talking about cold outreach. Cold outreach means contacting people who do not know you. They aren't your friends, followers, or old customers, and they haven't given you personal permission to contact them. These are the people you see on the internet, in company directories, in communities, or identified in a market segment. They might be your ideal customers, but right now, to them you are just an unknown name. As soon as they hear cold outreach, many people get scared. They feel it will seem like spam. People won't reply. They might get blocked. Someone might give a rude answer. But done correctly, cold outreach is not spam. It becomes spam when you send the same message to everyone without understanding, without relevance, and without value. Cold outreach works when you find the right people, understand their context, personalize the message, and quickly show them value that they can't ignore. The biggest problem in cold outreach is trust. In warm outreach, the other person knows you, so it's a bit easier to convince them. In free content, the person watches you over time, so trust builds gradually. But in cold outreach, your entry is sudden. You show up in someone's inbox, email, call, or message, and the other person thinks, "Who is this?" That is the first barrier. If you start the wrong way, they won't read further. That's why in cold outreach, the first line, the first impression, and the clarity of value become very important. There are usually three big problems with cold leads. The first problem is not knowing how to contact them. You don't have their phone number, email, social handle, or the right information for the decision maker. The second problem is that even if you do contact them, they don't listen. The message stays seen, the email isn't opened, the call gets cut. The third problem is that even if they do listen, they aren't ready to buy because there is no trust. In other words, you have to fight three battles in cold outreach: finding the lead, getting attention, and building trust. The first battle is finding the right leads. If you're building a list of the wrong people, no matter how good your message is, the result will be weak. Suppose you sell marketing services to gym owners, but your list includes restaurants, schools, and random shops. Your cold outreach will fail, but the mistake won't be the message, it will be the targeting. That's why cold outreach begins with list building. You first have to define who your ideal customer is. What is their business like? What is their problem? What platform are they active on? Who is their decision maker? There are several ways to build a list of leads. You can use software tools that help find businesses, emails, roles, and contact details based on public data. You can get data from brokers or list providers, but you shouldn't trust such lists blindly. Test a sample first, because outdated or incorrect data can waste your time. The third way is manual search. It's slow, but it's often more accurate. You can manually find your ideal leads from online communities, business directories, LinkedIn groups, Facebook groups, industry forums, websites, and local listings. Manual search requires more effort, but it gives you a deeper understanding. When you personally look at a lead's website, read their content, and notice their problem, your message naturally becomes better. For example, if you are selling digital marketing services to a dentist clinic and you see that the appointment button on their website is broken, you can mention this specific detail in your message. This is much better than a generic line. The person immediately understands that you actually looked at their site and didn't just send a bulk message. The second battle is getting attention. A cold lead doesn't know you, so they have no reason to listen to you. This is where personalization comes in. Personalization doesn't just mean adding a name. Writing "He Rahul" is not personalization. Real personalization is mentioning something relevant to the other person's world. For example, I read your latest blog post, or I saw the pricing page on your website, or I noticed a pattern in your restaurant's Google reviews, or you mentioned a hiring challenge in your LinkedIn post. Such comments make the person feel that the message was truly written for them. But along with personalization, honesty is essential. Don't give fake compliments. If you haven't read the blog, don't write that you did. If you haven't understood their company, don't pretend you know everything. Trust is already low in cold outreach. If a fake tone comes across right at the start, the conversation is over. It's better to write something short, clear, and honest. For example, I saw your website. The homepage looks good, but it felt a bit slow to load on mobile. This is simple, relevant, and can open a conversation. The third battle is building trust. A cold lead won't have time to listen to a long story. They don't have patience. That's why you have to provide big fast value. Big fast value means quickly showing something that is useful to them, such as a free audit, a quick insight, a short video breakdown, a sample improvement, a screenshot with a suggestion, a checklist, or a small fix. If you just write that we will increase your sales, that's a claim. But if you write, the CTA on your landing page is hidden at the bottom, if we move it to the first screen, there's a chance inquiries could increase, that is value. In cold outreach, the message should be short, clear, and relevant. A very long message exhausts the person. At the start, show their context, then state the problem, then give a small amount of value, then ask a simple question. For example, I saw your website. Your service is great, but the booking button doesn't appear immediately on mobile screens. I have a quick fix idea for this. Should I send over a 2-minute video? This message isn't selling, it's asking for permission to provide value. If the person is interested, they will reply. That is the start of the conversation. The same principle applies to cold calls. On a call, you have a few seconds. You have to immediately say who you are, why you are calling, and why the other person should listen. If the opening is generic, the call might get cut. But if you say, I saw your academy's website and noticed a small issue on the admissions page that might be causing leads to drop. Can I explain it in 20 seconds? The person might get curious. You asked for permission, respected their time, and hinted at value. The best way to turn cold outreach warm is to bring a familiar context to an unfamiliar person. You saw their business, noticed their problem, referenced their content, or identified a specific challenge in their industry. This makes the cold message feel a bit warmer. The person feels that this isn't a random blast. It's someone talking about something related to my business. Now comes another important thing, volume. In cold outreach, not every message will result in a sale. Many people won't reply. Some will say no, some will be interested but not ready yet. Therefore, you have to understand the numbers. If 1 out of 100 people becomes a customer, it doesn't mean the system is failing. It means the system needs volume and improvement. But volume doesn't mean bad quality. Successful cold outreach requires both quality targeting and consistent volume. The importance of cold outreach appeared at a tough time in Hormozi's story. During COVID-19, in-person businesses faced a lot of pressure, cash flow concerns grew, and traditional channels weakened. During this time, a salesman explained the power of cold outreach to Hormozi. This story is important because when warm channels slow down, ads become expensive, or content growth takes time, direct outreach can give a business breathing room. Cold outreach is not easy. You will face rejection. Progress will feel slow. Many times it will feel like no one is listening. But a system is built within this very process. Testing tells you which lead source is good, which message works, which offer gets a response, which follow-up is right, and which platform is better. The great thing about Hormozi's framework is that he doesn't sell magic tricks. He focuses on a repeatable system. Follow-up is a huge part of cold outreach. Many people stop after sending the first message. But the other person could be busy. The message could be missed. The need might not be urgent right now. That's why respectful follow-up is necessary. A follow-up shouldn't contain guilt or pressure. For example, just checking in to see if this is relevant to you, or I created a small example for you, should I send it, or if it's not a priority right now, no problem. Such follow-ups keep the conversation human. But there should also be a limit to follow-ups. If the person clearly says no, respect that. If they say they aren't interested, don't push. A long-term reputation is more important than a short-term sale. In cold outreach, your tone should be professional and respectful. You are entering someone's personal space, so value, clarity, and respect must all go together. Now, regarding channels for cold outreach, email, calls, direct messages, voicemail, LinkedIn, Instagram, X, WhatsApp, and even offline visits can work for some businesses. Which channel is best depends on your audience. For business-to-business services, LinkedIn and email can be useful. For local businesses, calls and WhatsApp might work. For creators and influencers, an Instagram DM might be relevant. But the message and relevance are more important than the channel. It's also important to keep legal and ethical considerations in mind in cold outreach. Sending too much bulk spam without permission can damage both your brand and your accounts. Different countries and platforms have their own rules. So conduct outreach professionally, respect opt-outs, don't make misleading claims, and use data responsibly. Business growth is important, but trust and reputation are even more important. Now, if we connect the first 4 parts, the whole system starts to become clear. In the first part, you created a lead magnet, a small, useful, and valuable free solution that brings people into your world. In the second part, you did warm outreach, talking to people you know to get initial clients and feedback. In the third part, you started posting free content, delivering value to many people and building an audience. And now, in the fourth part, you are doing cold outreach, reaching those strangers who don't know you yet, but who have the problem that you can solve. This is the big game of lead generation. You aren't just depending on luck. You aren't just waiting to go viral. You aren't just burning money on ads. You are taking your offer to the market. You are building lists, testing messages, opening conversations, providing value, and gradually turning strangers into interested leads. The biggest lesson of cold outreach is that strangers can also become customers if you approach them the right way. You have to find them, understand them, personalize, give fast value, and do respectful follow-ups. Confidence in cold outreach comes from practice. The first message will feel awkward. You'll feel fear during the first call. The first rejection will sting. But gradually you will understand that rejection is not personal. It's just market feedback. In business, people who only do comfortable work often get stuck with limited growth. Warm outreach is comfortable because people know you. Free content is a bit safer because you're giving value in public. But in cold outreach, you have to face the unknown market directly. This uncomfortable zone is what makes you sharp. It tells you whether your offer is truly clear or not. It teaches you the real language of the market. But now one more big question remains. Warm outreach took time. Free content took patience. Cold outreach meant enduring rejection. If you want to scale the business even faster, will manual effort be enough? Is there a way you can spend money to buy attention, bring in leads quickly, and grow your system? In the next part, the story will move to paid ads, where the biggest fear will be, what happens if the ad runs and the money is lost? And the biggest curiosity will be, when do paid ads become a growth machine, and when do they become a multi-$1,000 trap for a business?
This video has taught you something new. Or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible. But in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.